What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is Carter Scotland Allen here, and today we are taking a look at the real first live-action iteration of Batman with Batman 1989. This is the first kind of serious take on Batman. Let's not waste any more time and get into this review. This is Batman 1989, directed by Tim Burton and starring Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne, Batman himself. This was written by Sam Hamm and Warren Scarron. The film also includes Jack Nicholson, Kim Basinger, and Michael Gough as Alfred. So Batman 89 is the first real, kind of dark, relatively dark story and telling of the Batman tale and the telling of Bruce Wayne that many people know, and especially today with the, 4 or 5 iterations of live-action Batman that we have to date and the new one coming out. Having witnessed his parents' brutal murder as a child, millionaire philanthropist Bruce Wayne fights crime in Gotham City disguised as Batman, a costumed hero who strikes fear into the hearts of villains. But when a deformed madman who calls himself the Joker seizes control of Gotham's criminal underworld, Batman must face his most ruthless nemesis ever while protecting both his identity and his love interest reporter, Vicky Vale. Alright, so let's just start off with the direction of this film. The directing done by the notorious Tim Burton. Tim Burton has so many films, so many great films. I was actually not a Tim Burton fan for a very long time. Not that I had anything against his films, I didn't seek them out. I wasn't going out to see, pick out every Tim Burton film and watch them. But, over the last couple years I've seen, Nightmare Before Christmas and I think one was called like 9 or something like that. So I've seen a few of his films, and Batman 1989 is among one of my favorites. I'll just say that right out of the gate. It is not my favorite Batman film, but we will get to that later in the Batman official ranking coming out soon. But the directing was great. For a real kind of serious take at Bruce Wayne, this is a great way to introduce the character. In 1989, I would have imagined that seeing this on screen, both as a kid and as an adult, would have been a fantastic experience, and also would have just been a great way to bond, families and different generations that are, new fans of Batman, old fans of Batman, and that's what I do love about every iteration of Batman, is there's always going to be some group of people that love this Batman over this Batman, or, vice versa, whether it's Ben Affleck, Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, Christian Bale, all of them, Adam West. Everybody's got their pick and everybody's got their poison. And so if you don't like the others, you don't have to bitch about it. You can just watch your thing and do your thing. That being said, I think Tim Burton knew exactly where he wanted to go, and I think Tim Burton knew exactly where he wanted to go. However, the studios, with it being the first Batman film on the big screen, really, they probably didn't give him, the full creativity that he wanted. And that is okay, by all means, because the film does still have some really dark moments. The Joker does kill people. Even though his gadget of the shocking until, the bones are crispy or whatever, like, that joke was funny. But it is dark, and I could imagine some kids being scared, so I think for the time, they did a good job at creating a character that was both fun and scary with Jack Nicholson's Joker. I think he did a good job at displaying this character of Batman, and that's where I'll go into the story a little bit later, but I just felt like Bruce Wayne was underused, and that goes for both of Michael Keaton's Batman films. Both of Michael Keaton's Batman films, which are both directed by Tim Burton. So that I think Tim Burton was more focused on the grand spectacle of things, which isn't a bad thing when it comes to Batman or superhero films. And at the time, there were no other superhero films. So this was really groundbreaking, and he knew what he wanted. He did a great job. I just think he did need a little bit more creativity. Not that the movie isn't creative, he just needed that full, hey, I can do whatever I want, and that's what they did end up doing in Batman Returns, which in some people's eyes was a bad idea, and in my eyes is a great idea. Now on to the cast and the characters. So we have, Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne and Batman. I'm just going to start with that because I thought Michael Keaton was great. His voice was fine. He was intimidating for the time. It's hard to take it seriously after seeing some of the really more serious takes on Batman. However, it's still a film that you can have fun with, and you can take his Batman seriously because he does rough up these bad guys. However, I just don't think that Bruce Wayne was used really at all. Anytime that his character's used, it's only to interact with the love interest or to get the love interest to get a hint that he may or may not be Batman, and it just falls flat. And I get it. It's coming from, 20-something years later, 23 years later, 30-something years later, 33? That's crazy. Wow. So, the film is old, and for it being 2 hours and 6 minutes long, I still had a great time. I don't think I will need to rewatch it again, until I have kids and I show them the Batman films. But it's not a film I would hesitate to go back to. I just know the story, and I'm fine with that. Now, Jack Nicholson's Joker, I get it. Everybody loves him, but I don't. I'm just going to say that. I don't love Jack Nicholson's Joker. He did a great job. He has some fun lines. He's, the whole dance sequence in the house, splattering the paintings, that was fun. The human skin, that sounds bad, but the skin-colored makeup that, washes off and shows his true white face, that's fun. And it was a good way to introduce the Joker and create a crazy character. But it's just not the one that I grew up with. I grew up with Heath Ledger. I know that really, truly terrifying Joker, and so that's just what I'm used to, and so it was hard for me to watch this. Sorry about my phone. But it was hard to watch some of his stuff just because I do want and I do enjoy a more serious Joker. As for Kim Basinger as Vicky Vale, she was fine. It's just the generic love interest. She doesn't really have that much of a personality as most female characters in films like this are in the 80s. That's sad to say, but it's true. They didn't get a lot of development, and they were there to be, the damsel in distress or just really just there to look pretty. So, and I mean, it's obvious because she's not used in the next film, and then Tim Burton didn't get to do a third film, so the love interest changes every single Batman film, and that is one thing that I don't think any iteration of Batman has really truly been able to capture, is the relationship between Batman and whoever he's interested in. I think there really needs to be an actual, hey, Bruce Wayne is with this person, show the effects of that, because some of the films have touched on it, but I don't think they've done it in a way that's really captivating. Now, so for the story, it was overall okay. I did love the fake out with Bruce Wayne and his parents' death. You think it's a flashback sequence to him and his parents' death, but then it ends up being present day, and Batman comes in and saves this family from being robbed or potentially murdered just like his parents were. I did like that the Joker was the one that killed his parents. I liked that it was just, it was a fun twist, and for being a film from 1989, it works. It works completely well. We didn't have any other serious takes on the Joker or the Joker Batman story in live action before this, so that's why this completely works, is because nothing has set the grounds, and that's what this film did, is set the grounds for what people know as the Joker. So I get why there is a huge population of people that do love this version of the Joker over any Joker, but like I said, it's just not the one that I grew up with. But the rest of the story, it was fine. Like I said, the love interest whole thing could have been cut, and I would have been fine, but then that would have, some of the scenes would have just simply not worked. Like the Joker entering, it's when she's on the date with Bruce. Yeah, it's Batman 1989. There's not much to talk about. It is what it is. It's a fun look at Batman. Really nothing more than that. And speaking of a fun look, we're going to talk about the cinematography. So the cinematography was great. The actual cinematography itself wasn't that like crazy, spectacular, innovative for the film industry, but the techniques that were used were all very well done, very well crafted. You know, you've got so many miniature models, which I loved. You've got just the Batmobile was fantastic. Like, everything to look at was great. And so there is, like, Joker's henchmen with the little patches of the Joker, like the costume design. The visuals are fun, and the visuals are what make this film. If this film weren't as bright and colory, that sounds weird because all of Gotham is pretty dark, but if this film didn't have as much color as it does, I don't think it would work, because it would have felt bland. Because the story really isn't there to support it. I know I might sound crazy, but that's just how I feel. Alright, and now we are on to the final thoughts. So, Batman 1989. It is not my favorite Batman film, but I would definitely rewatch it again. I had fun with it. I would throw on this and, like, do some cleaning, or, just fall asleep to this. Like, it is a fun Batman movie. It is a fun Batman movie. If you love Batman, most likely you've already seen this. If you love Batman and you haven't seen this, just go watch it. You'll have fun. You probably won't come away absolutely loving it if you haven't seen it, at this point. But it is fun, and I would give it a watch. If you aren't the biggest Batman fan, or just you aren't a huge fan of superhero films, maybe it would be a good idea to stay away from this film. Don't rent it. It is streaming on, I want to say, HBO or Hulu. And so if you've got those streaming services, might as well go watch it before the Batman. But if you don't, I wouldn't stress it. I think, like I said before, most iterations of the Batman can stand on their own, and you can find the one that you identify with. And so that's why I don't think most of these films are necessary to rewatch going into the new Batman film. But if you love Batman, go back and rewatch it, have some fun. If you don't love Batman, don't watch it. If you're the biggest superhero fan ever, go out and buy the film. I'm not going to buy it. I've seen it 3 times now, and 3 times is enough. I don't need to buy this film to have on my shelf. I don't need to have a full Batman live action collection. I will just get the Batman films that I like. So, with that being said, that is my review. Still getting into this whole review process. This is kind of the way that I would like to do things, and just tidy up my reviews from now on. Broaden my vocabulary, and hopefully create some, well, not hopefully, but I will be creating some better reviews, and thank you for following along. Thank you, and stay tuned for the Batman Returns review coming out tomorrow. Thanks, and I'm Carter Scott Allen. See you in the next video.